You have just escaped from an egg buried beneath the ground, and the first animal waiting to eat you may be another Komodo dragon. Not a snake, not an eagle, not a wild pig digging through the nest. A larger version of you. Somewhere beyond the soil stands an adult lizard that may stretch 3 meters long, weigh more than a human, and possess serrated teeth and powerful claws. You are approximately 40 centimeters long. Part of that measurement is tail. You weigh less than 100 grams, which means the largest lizard on Earth begins life roughly the size of a pair of socks with a much worse attitude. Your mother will not lead you away from the nest. She will not teach you to hunt, show you which trees are safe, or explain why approaching enormous relatives is a serious mistake. Once you reach the surface, you are responsible for yourself. Your best protection is above you. The adults are dangerous on the ground, but their massive bodies make climbing difficult. You are small, light, and equipped with curved claws. So before you have eaten your first meal, you must scramble into a tree and begin a childhood spent hiding from your own species. This is the story of why a baby Komodo dragon has to disappear into the branches before the adult dragons discover it. Your story begins months earlier on one of the dry Indonesian islands where Komodo dragons survive. Your mother is already one of the most powerful predators in her environment. She can follow the scent of carrion, ambush deer, and tear flesh using backward curving, serrated teeth. But producing you requires a different kind of work. During the breeding season, adult males compete for access to females. They rise on their hind legs, grapple, and attempt to throw one another to the ground. The winner does not receive a medal. He receives the opportunity to approach a female who may still object strongly enough to bite him. After mating, your mother searches for a place to lay her eggs. Komodo dragons often use the enormous nesting mounds built by orange-footed scrubfowl, a type of megapode bird. These birds pile soil, leaves, and branches together, allowing heat from sunlight and decomposing vegetation to incubate their own eggs. Your mother sees this carefully maintained structure and responds as many successful property owners do. She takes it. She digs into the mound and creates several chambers and tunnels. Some are false nests that may confuse predators. One chamber receives the real clutch. She can lay around 20 eggs, sometimes more. Each egg is protected by a flexible shell and placed deep enough for the surrounding soil to reduce extreme changes in heat and moisture. Then the entrance is covered. For a time, your mother may remain near the nest and defend it, but Komodo eggs require an incubation lasting roughly 8 or 9 months. She cannot spend that entire period sitting beside the mound while politely refusing to eat. Eventually, she leaves. Underground, your life continues without her. Inside the egg, cells become organs, your spine lengthens. 4 limbs form, claws curve at the ends of your toes. Scales spread across your body. Your long tail will help with balance, movement, and defense. Your mouth develops small, sharp teeth. You're becoming a predator inside a sealed chamber. Unfortunately, the world outside is preparing to treat you as prey. The nest attracts attention. Predators may dig into mounds or take exposed eggs and hatchlings. Even if nothing reaches you, temperature and moisture must remain survivable for most of a year. You cannot move to a better location. You cannot request improved ventilation. Your entire future depends on where your mother placed the egg and whether the mound continues doing its job. Then the rainy season approaches, the soil softens, insects become more abundant, vegetation grows inside your egg, the remaining yolk is nearly gone. Space has disappeared. Your snout presses against the shell. Your limbs fold tightly around your body. The egg that once protected you has become a room you must destroy to leave. You begin pushing. The shell bends before it tears. Your claws scrape. Your head twists. The opening widens until humid air enters. You crawl out. But hatching is not the same as escaping. Above you may be more than a meter of soil, roots, and packed nesting material. There is no parent digging from the opposite direction. You must climb through the chamber and follow passages toward the surface. Your siblings are doing the same. For months, you developed separately. Now several small dragons may push through the same underground space toward the exit. The journey is short by adult standards. At your size, it is excavation work performed immediately after birth. You claw at loose earth. Soil falls across your back. Roots block the route. Your body bends through narrow spaces. Then a line of daylight appears. You push your head through the surface. For the first time, you see the island. Dry hills rise beyond patches of monsoon forest. Insects move through leaf litter. Birds call from the trees. The world appears open. That is the problem. A large Komodo dragon can detect food using its long, forked tongue. The tongue collects chemical particles from the air and carries them to a sensory organ in the roof of the mouth. A dead animal can be discovered from a great distance. A nest that suddenly releases the smell of eggs, soil, and newly hatched lizards is not exactly practicing discretion. You pull yourself free. Your siblings emerge nearby. None of you waits for a family photograph. Field studies suggest that hatchlings move away from the nest in a relatively direct dispersal. This reduces the time spent clustered around a location that predators may investigate. You run toward vegetation. At this stage, your legs are quick. Your claws are sharp, and your body is light enough to climb surfaces that would never support an adult. A tree trunk rises ahead, you grip the bark, one foot lifts, then another. You climb. Below, the ground becomes farther away. A heavy adult is not built to chase a tiny lizard through narrow branches. Its weight becomes your protection. The same species that dominates the island has produced a temporary refuge by becoming too large to follow you. For the next few years, trees are your nursery, hunting ground, and emergency shelter. You rest in hollows and among branches. Leaves conceal your outline. Bark supports your claws. The ground still contains more food, but it also contains animals with mouths large enough to include you. Life in the canopy does not make you safe. It simply improves the mathematics. Birds of prey may notice you. Snakes can climb. Larger juveniles may use the same trees. A fall could injure you or place you directly in front of an adult whose afternoon has just improved. Hunger creates another problem. You cannot remain hidden without eating. Adult Komodo dragons may attack deer, pigs, and other large animals. You're not ready for any of that. A deer would not recognize you as a serious predator. It might accidentally end your hunting career by placing one foot in the wrong location. So you begin with prey that fits inside your mouth. Grasshoppers, beetles, small geckos, bird eggs, young birds, if an opportunity appears and the parents fail to submit the appropriate complaint. You move through the branches using vision, smell, and vibration. Your forked tongue samples the air. Your eyes detect movement. A grasshopper lands on a leaf. You freeze. The insect shifts. You lunge. It jumps away. Your first hunt has ended in a result familiar to young predators everywhere. You possessed the correct equipment and used it badly. You try again. A beetle disappears into bark. A gecko runs around a trunk. You misjudge another strike and bite a leaf. The leaf is captured successfully. Unfortunately, it has little nutritional value. Eventually, your jaws close around living prey. The meal is small, but so are you. Every insect becomes muscle. Every lizard becomes bone, scale, and tail. You begin growing rapidly. You become more confident in the trees, learning which branches bend and which surfaces provide grip. You learn to stay still when a shadow crosses above. You learn that the arrival of an adult dragon below should not inspire curiosity. Sometimes a carcass draws several large dragons together. The smell travels through the forest, reaching your tongue even from the branches. On the ground, adults tear at flesh and compete for position. Smaller individuals wait at the edges, rushing forward when a piece becomes available. The gathering reveals what will eventually become your world. It also demonstrates why you cannot enter it yet. Komodo dragons do not divide food according to age or emotional need. A hungry adult may attack a smaller member of its own species. Cannibalism provides meat, and nature has not attached a label identifying the meat as socially inappropriate. You remain above them. This creates a strange childhood. The adults are both your future and your predators. Their bodies show what you may become: heavy, muscular, capable of overpowering prey far larger than the insects you chase. But reaching that size requires avoiding them while you are still small enough to swallow. Years pass, your prey changes with you. Insects remain useful, but small reptiles, birds, eggs, and rodents offer more energy. You begin spending time closer to the ground and crossing between trees. The change is gradual. You do not wake one morning and receive a certificate declaring you safe from cannibalism. You simply become harder to catch, harder to swallow, and more capable of defending yourself. Your body also becomes heavier. The branches that once held you easily begin bending under your weight. Thin limbs shake. Hollows become too small. Climbing still works, but it costs more energy and carries greater risk. The refuge is disappearing because you are succeeding. At around 4 or 5 years old, you may measure close to 2 meters and weigh tens of kilograms. You're no longer a hatchling hiding above the forest floor. You're becoming one of the animals the hatchlings fear. Life on the ground offers larger prey. You begin hunting rodents and other manageable animals. As your strength increases, larger meals become possible. Your hunting method changes as well. A tiny arboreal dragon actively searches among branches. A large ground-dwelling dragon can conserve energy, wait beside a trail, and launch a sudden attack. Your size allows patience to replace constant movement, but the island remains dangerous. Larger adults can still dominate you. Males fight. Food shortages punish every mistake. Human activity and declining prey create dangers no tree can solve. You have left the branches, not the struggle. One day, a smell leads you toward a nesting mound. The soil has been disturbed. Small movements appear near the surface. A hatchling pulls itself into daylight and races toward a tree. You watch it run once. That was you. The young dragon reaches the trunk and climbs beyond your weight. You remain below. Whether you would have attacked depends on hunger, opportunity, and distance. Nature does not require you to remember your childhood before deciding what counts as food. So why did you have to hide from your own kind? You hid because being a Komodo dragon did not make you powerful at birth. It made you a small piece of meat living among enormous predators with the same senses, habitat, and appetite. The underground nest protected your egg. The trees protected your childhood. Your light body and curved claws allowed you to enter a world the adults could not easily follow. Insects and small vertebrates fed you while you grew. Each year increased your size and reduced the number of dragons capable of swallowing you. You did not defeat the adults, you became too large to remain an easy meal. Yes, it is dangerous to be born as a Komodo dragon. You spend months underground, break out without parental help, and emerge near relatives who may eat you before you have captured your first insect. Your safest home is a tree, even though your species is famous for ruling the ground. Then growth removes that safety. The branches bend, the hollows shrink, the forest floor waits below. But there is beauty too. You begin life hidden beneath an island, built by fire. Rain softens the soil above your egg. Your claws open a passage toward daylight. The first tree rises like a tower, and your small body climbs into leaves untouched by the heaviest dragons. There you learn the movement of insects, the smell of bark, and the silence required when danger passes below. Years later, you descend, your feet touch the ground. The forest has not become safer. You have simply become heavier, stronger, and more difficult to eat. A forked tongue tests the air. Something moves through the grass. When you were born, the adults were hunting you. Now the island is beginning to recognize you as one of them.